couple things together. All right, so welcome, everyone. My name is Quinn Conyers, and I'm super excited to do this live. I am testing cameras and lighting, so I look like super. I don't know the word to say, but I can see myself on Facebook and LinkedIn and YouTube. And this new lights and the camera is giving me everything that it needs to give. Interesting enough, LinkedIn, Instagram, y'all get me raw and unfiltered. So I'm going to jump in. So if you see me looking back and forth, that's because I'm live across multiple platforms. If you are here, that means that you have a voice or you have something to say and you want to join this discussion to figure out, is your voice impacting your paycheck or your income? So if you are here, you should be here if you are required to speak in order to be successful, impactful, and effective in your role. Maybe you are an entrepreneur, a business owner, or a founder, or maybe you are in a position in corporate America or at your job that requires your voice for you to be successful. So I want to quickly run down who this particular live is definitely for. Again, these are people who are in sales. Maybe you're in fundraising and development. Maybe you are a person in marketing or business development. And of course, if you're a business owner, founder, entrepreneur, that's who I talk to on the regular. But does your voice impact your paycheck or your income? This is how I want you to decide if this is something that is in alignment with you. Are you required to speak? For example, speak is an acronym. Do you sell something? Right? So the S is all about, do you sell something? The E is, do you have to explain or educate people on who you are and what you do often? Okay. That is the E in my speak model. The A is all about, do you need to articulate well for your audience to take action? Meaning, after you speak, you want somebody to buy something from you. After you speak, you want somebody to donate to your organization or your charity. After you speak, you want someone to buy into whatever you have to offer. That is the A. And then the last piece of this, which is probably one of my favorites, is, if you really want to dive into if this particular live conversation is for you, because I don't want to waste nobody's time, is K. Does your voice require you to be knowledgeable in your field or your industry? So that is the K. So if you are required to speak, meaning in your business, in your line of work, in your job, in your corporate career, do you sell something? I'm sorry, I missed the whole letter, y'all. I missed the P. Do you present or pitch your products or service on behalf of your business or your company? E, do you have to educate and explain who you are and what you do frequently? The A is all about, do you need to articulate to your audience in order for them to take action? Meaning, after they hear you speak or present, you want them to do something, buy something, enroll, donate, not just hear you get motivated, inspired, but you want them to actually take action. And last but not least, do you have to be knowledgeable in your industry or your field? Why am I doing this particular live? And if you're joining me for the very first time, if you've never saw me live before, the title actually got your attention, just type first time in the comments. I'm just curious who's their first time and who has been kind of rocking and rolling with me. And if you have caught me live before, or we met in person, or you saw me speak, or we were at an event together, we became fast friends, you're like, oh, Quinn's on. I want you to put family in the comments. I'm just curious to see who is joining me today. All right. So why am I doing this particular live? Here's what I realized. I have been in business speaking, emceeing, and serving for the last 19 years. I've been a full-time entrepreneur and speaker for the last 9 years. Hey, family. Hey, Miss Tammy. And I realized that a lot of entrepreneurs and people connect with me because they want to learn how to get paid to speak. And that is an incredible skill. It takes time, it takes energy, and a lot of people really don't have what it takes, right? They want the microwave slash vending machine version. They want to learn how to make $60,000 in 6 days with a 6-minute coaching course. That's not what it is. And what I realized is, getting paid to speak is one thing, but another thing is there are so many of us in jobs and positions and running businesses, starting businesses that require our voices, and we don't understand the impact of not being a great speaker, not being able to articulate your awesomeness, not being able to communicate convincingly can have on our business. So before we're talking about getting someone to pay us to speak, I'm leaving that alone. I want to show you how being a great speaker speaker, being a great communicator, having your voice visible is going to impact your business, your job, or your career. So some of it is obvious, right? If you are looking for a job, or you better be in Hawaii, Michelle, and take me with you. If you are looking to advance in your career, the obvious is the obvious. You're going to have to interview for that position, right? If you are working at a job, you probably have to connect with colleagues and coworkers to get a certain project done. But I want to talk to the entrepreneurs for a second. A lot of us raise our hands as business owners and founders, and we say we want to start this business, we want to expand this business, we want to scale this business, but we don't realize how much speaking can be an intricate part of accelerating that business growth. Here's the reason why. Your voice is showing up in every aspect of your business. It can show up as simple as when people ask you what it is that you do, and your ability to answer that question can either assist you with getting clients or it can turn clients off. But even as you begin to grow, and let's say, for example, you're preparing a presentation or you're preparing something for someone and you're asking for $50,000, right? Or $75,000. Or let's just say you're applying for a grant and they want the video portion to go with the application. Do you know how many people who I've talked to who ran nonprofit organizations and said, I did not submit the information for the grant because I didn't want to do the video portion? So you mean to tell me you're not willing to talk for 2 minutes for an opportunity to get a $50,000 grant? Make that make sense. So the reason why I'm sharing this is because if you want to be super successful as you begin to grow your business, I believe that one of the skill sets that cannot be prolonged, one of the skill sets that cannot be overlooked or, just kind of shoved to the background is your ability to speak and communicate. And I don't think a lot of us, especially as business owners, put the time and attention into the art and the craft and the mechanics of being a compelling communicator or even a powerful speaker. And your presentation doesn't just start when you open your mouth. I'm talking about the executive presence that you exude before you even say a word, right? I'm talking about how do you appear confident before you even begin to speak, right? There are certain colors that exude confidence. There's certain body language and there's mannerisms that, tell someone that you're confident or not. And it's not just about confidence. If you think about the charisma of a compelling speaker, think about when people run for president. What is the main thing that they do that we watch? They have debates, right? And we go to these debates and we learn about, their issues. But the person who is seems more knowledgeable and can speak better probably wins us over. When people are campaigning for your vote, there's a lot of speaking that is happening. And sadly, I don't think that people truly realize, especially business owners, the impact that their voice has on their business. Especially a lot of times our voice is directly impacting our paycheck and our income. So if you have a product or service that is $10,000, $5,000, or even $25,000, and you are trying to explain or you are trying to convert someone into a client, but you don't know how to explain what makes your product, your service, your coaching program different from everybody else, you're going to continue to lose the sale. So it's not just about having a great website. It matters. It's not just about doing a brand photo shoot. That matters as well because it works with you to convey that you are professional. But at the end of the day, you have to understand that when you raise your hand, and it doesn't matter if you've been in business for 2 days, 2 minutes, 2 decades, or 2 years, that your voice is going to impact your ability to make money and it's going to impact your ability to have a paycheck. Especially if you're in sales, you're in business development, you're in marketing, you have a book of business. You have to make these phone calls. You have to do presentations. And a lot of times it's all about a sales strategy. It's all about if I can just, dial for dollars. If I talk to at least 100 people, if I can get 20 of them to say yes, to what it is that I'm doing, then I'll be good. But here's the thing. If you get 20 people on the phone and they say yes to you, do you have the confidence? Do you have the conviction? Do you have the charisma? Do you have the clarity to be able to now take that person from being an interested prospect to a paying client? So a lot of times I think that entrepreneurs invest in a lot of things that are needed and necessary. They will be in 90-day, 6-month, 9-month, 12-month coaching, but it still doesn't go over the fact of, Are you a polished presenter? Are you able to use words and language in a way that convinces somebody to swipe their credit card? Are you able to explain your products and services by focusing on not just the features of the program, but the benefits of your services, right? So I just want to make sure that you understand how much your voice, hey, Robert, how are you, is really impacting your paycheck or your income. And I do have a very special thing that I'm doing. Speaking of Robert Kennedy, if you've been following me for a while, I have been speaking and serving. I've had a chance to work with some very amazing companies like Nike, Walmart, UPS, M&T Bank, just to name a few, either as an MC or as a speaker within my speaking business. And as I am evolving, I will be working with more business owners and founders and people who work in sales related positions and teaching them how to sharpen their speaking skills to increase their income or to literally have a positive impact on their paycheck. But here's where I need you. I really want to make sure that I'm in alignment, right? Because I come from a space of working with people and being a speaker, right? And speaking comes very natural to me. It is one of my superpowers. But as I begin to work with other professionals, I want to make sure that what I'm creating is exactly what you need to sharpen your skills and polish your presentation so you can feel confident. So you are Listen, Robert, yes, it is a new mic. Listen, I'm testing out a bunch of things right now, right? My lighting's a little low, so I'm going to play with that lighting next. But yes, it is a very new mic. You see it, Mike? You see it? See, I got it. I'm trying to keep up, right? So that's where I need you. So if you are a business owner, you are a founder, or if you are in a revenue generating position, maybe you're in sales, maybe you're in business development, maybe you are in a fundraiser or you're in development, which your success depends on your ability to speak, meaning you're doing presentations often, you are pitching to customers and clients, you are having conversations all the time. I want to know what your speaking challenges are. Are you confident when you communicate? Or imagine you walk into a room and you now have to deliver updates about your department to a board of directors, right? Like if you are requested or required to speak in your business or your company or in your role in your career, I want to know the speaking challenges that you are having. So if you actually DM me voice, I'm going to send you a Zoom link and I want you to join me next week. I'm doing a 1 hour feedback session. I want to ask questions because nobody wants to create something that nobody really wants, right? And many people are reaching out to me about doing some speaking coaching. They've reached out to me about what are my programs. And I just want to make sure what I create next really is advantageous to that business owner or as that founder. But what I need you to understand that every time you open up your mouth, you can be either severely accelerating your business or you can put in your business, back a couple of notches. So I want to give you some insight, right? Because you might not be familiar on how exactly your business, right, is so dependent on your voice. Number one, here is what I believe, right? If you taking notes like me, I want to give you some things. I believe if you sharpen your speaking skills, you will make more sales. Point blank, period. If you are boring, people are not going to buy. They're not going to buy into what you're selling. They're not going to buy into what you're saying. They're not going to buy into the product service, that you're offering. So if you become a compelling and captivating communicator, I believe that you're going to increase sales, right? The next thing is if you master the skill of communicating to convert, and I'm going to stay on this one for a little bit, I believe that you're going to attract more customers and clients. So if you master the art of communicating to convert, you will attract and close more customers and clients. Now, what do I mean by communicating to convert, right? Many business owners, many founders are so focused on speaking to sell. They're focusing on communicate to empower, communicating to educate, communicate to inform. But your goal, especially if it is a small team, your primary job as a founder and CEO of your own business or empire is to communicate to convert. So you need to be communicating in a way that leads to customers and clients, right? So when you talk, when you're communicating, if you're doing a workshop, you're doing a seminar, somebody's interviewing you on a podcast, you're on a panel, your goal is to communicate in a way that leads to conversions. And too many business owners are communicating to inspire. We want to empower. We want to share our story. No, 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 no. Speaking should be used in your business as a lead generation tool, a marketing strategy, and in a revenue stream when you get there. Most of us want to start out with making speaking a revenue stream, and we are not ready. Right? We're not ready to make speaking a revenue stream because you haven't figured out the other ways to leverage speaking to your advantage. So, Tammy, I got you. If you DM me, like I said, the word voice, I want to actually send you a link. I want you to join me for a live Zoom session that I will be hosting. And I'm going to be asking you questions about what is your struggle with using your voice in your business, in your career? Do you feel like you are good one-on-one, but as soon as you have to speak in front of crowds of more than 5 or 10 or 20 or 30 people, you get super nervous? Do you have challenges as far as feeling like imposter syndrome? Is it very uncomfortable for you to speak in your career, your business, because you find yourself in the room and you're the only, maybe you're the only baby boomer, maybe you're the only woman, maybe you're the only person under the age of 40, maybe you're the only person in the room over the age of 60, right? Like being the only is so diverse. Either way, I'm just really on the mission to turn up the volume of people whose voices are dependent on their paycheck, right? So if you don't sell anything, right, you're not eating. And I tell people all the time, as a professional speaker, when I open up my mouth, this is how I feed my family, y'all. This is how I put, clothes on my kids' back. I have a 6 and an 8-year-old. This is it. Like this is how I make my business, how I make my money as a living. So I understand that it's not just about Quinn being a great speaker. I have to have a certain command of the English language. I have to manipulate words in such a way that get you to swipe your credit card. So if you know for a fact that you're in the same boat, again, maybe you are currently working in your career, you have a sales position, you have a business development role, maybe you're in marketing, but you are required to do presentations and speak frequently to be successful in your role. Or maybe you're a founder or you're a business owner and you have not hired 1,000,001 people to join your team yet. So you are the CEO, the chief everything officer, and your primary goal is to get customers and clients to come through the door. Well, guess what? There's a million ways to do that. And I believe that speaking and leveraging speaking strategically and intentionally is a huge overlooked marketing opportunity. And that's why I want to work with people and not just teaching them how to get paid to speak, but teaching them how, if they polish and perfect their presentation skills, they will see profit in the end. Because the better speaker you are, the more convincing you are, the more compelling you are, the more captivating you are, people are going to want to work with you. They're going to want to become a client, right? You want to turn people on when you open your mouth. You don't want to turn people off. Because if I'm bored, again, I'm not buying into anything that you're selling. Does this make sense? If you're rocking with me, do you understand this? Does this make sense? If this makes sense, I want you to just type make sense in the comments, right? So I'm going to keep going, right? So how else, right? If you are in a sales generating position, or if you are a founder or business owner, when you speak powerfully, you can persuade your audience. And when you can persuade your audience, that means you have influence and that means you have impact. Influence plus impact equals income, right? We've heard this a million times. If you can influence someone, if you can impact someone, usually your income will be increased. So if that is the case, why is it that many founders, many business owners, many people in business development, many people who are in fundraising or development, or maybe many people who are in sales, they would literally take all these courses and coaches on a bunch of different things, but they don't take a public speaking course for professionals. They don't take a communication course. They don't hire a communication coach. They just kind of like, you know what? I know I'm not the best speaker. And they like work through it. So it's just like, I don't understand that. If you had an issue with your eyes, are you going to keep blinking? Or are you going to go to an optometrist, right? After a while, you're going to go to a professional to see, listen, there's something up with my eye. I want this fixed because I want to see clearly. No, you're not just going to walk around with blinders on, hoping, wishing, and praying that your eyesight gets better. It's the same for your business. If you know that speaking is a skill set that you need to master. Now, I'm not talking about people who are deathly afraid of public speaking. That's not my ministry. If you are deathly afraid of public speaking, me and you, we ain't gonna rock. I'm talking about the person who was actually pretty comfortable with speaking in front of people, because they understand that the more people they talk to, the more presentations that they give, the more conversations they have is going to lead to clients and customers. They just want to be more polished. They want to be more perfected. They want to speak powerfully. They want to feel like when they walk into the room and they open their mouth, that people will listen. They want to make sure that when they have that microphone in their hand, whether it's a lapel, whether it's a handhead held, whether it's a headset, that when they speak with confidence in such a way that people want to do business with them. That is drastically different from somebody who is deathly afraid of public speaking. That ain't me. There's a lot of people out there who work with people who are deathly afraid of public speaking. But I want to talk to people like Tynika, who just had a great speaking opportunity at Baltimore BizCon. So I like to talk to and work with people who understand that there's value in their voice. And they want to make sure that when they do speak, not only are they able to explain their excellence, they are also able to speak with confidence and conviction and clarity, and they can be clear, concise, and compelling. You ever be somewhere and somebody's just like, I don't understand anything that this person is saying. They threw me off. I'm not interested. Matter of fact, this is a snooze fest. And here's the thing. Many people, entrepreneurs, founders, business owners, sales representatives, development officers are what I call education rich, but they are delivery poor, meaning they know their stuff, their experience, they have the expertise. They've been in their role or their business or their industry sometimes 5, 10, 20, 30 years. But when they open up their mouth, their delivery skills are so piss poor that it turns them off. As a result of their communication and speaking skills not being up to par, they are not seen as credible. They lose the sale. People begin to judge if their product or service is actually worth the investment because their ability to articulate their awesomeness is lacking. And this is the part that people miss. This is the part that people don't quite understand or know how much their voice is impacting their paycheck. If you are a piss poor communicator, if you struggle with articulating your ideas, if you speak in a way that is not commanding a crowd, if when you open up your mouth, you are always literally trying to figure out what you're going to say next, then you are the type of person I want to talk to. I want you to join me for my feedback session. Literally, I am creating a couple things. I am turning up the volume of the voices of leaders and entrepreneurs and founders and people who are in sales generating roles. I want to make sure, because I already know you know your stuff. Like, you know the product, you know your services, you know the benefits, but are you explaining in a way that somebody is willing to whip out their credit card? Are you explaining it in such a way that they're looking for the buy button? I mean, they're not even waiting for you to be done. They're just like, okay, where's your website? I want to pay you all my money. If the answer is no, then you and I need to have a conversation, because I want to figure out, what are your speaking challenges, right? Like, when you're preparing to pitch somebody, does that scare you? Like, the fact that all eyes on you makes you nervous? Are you in a male dominated industry that you're actually comfortable doing what you do, but because there's so many people in the room who don't look like you are very tense and you're very nervous? First of all, nerves are normal. I know people who have been speaking for years, and if you are not nervous before you get on stage, I will question if you had a heartbeat, right? Because it's normal. However, your ability to have a regular check and earn ridiculous revenue, in my opinion, is very dependent on your ability to communicate. All right. So we got about a couple more minutes, and I'm going to keep going. And then, of course, DM me the word voice if you are interested in joining me for my feedback section. The feedback session, I really want to know what is holding you back. What's keeping your voice hostage? What kind of speaking challenges are you having? Are you deathly afraid of public speaking, right? Do you hate sales? Do you want not sales? Do you not want to be salesy, right? But here's the thing. If you are in business, you got to sell something to make money, right? So I want to work with you on that as well, right? And people, and there's so many cliches. Closed mouths don't get fed. Absolutely. Right? Like, so you have to be the spokesperson for your business or your particular brand, right? So one of the things that I believe, I want to give you this quick tip before I wrap this up. I want to give you a quick tip. So when you are asked, required, or requested to speak, as maybe you're an extension of your company, or you have to speak because you started your own business and you're getting requests. One of the things that would really, really benefit you if you learned what kind of speaker you really are. And a lot of us are putting ourselves in situations to speak where we're failing and not flourishing because we haven't figured out what kind of speaker we are, right? So one of the things that I'm working on right now, I'm working on this live event for May, and it's called Captivate. So you heard me say it here, is I'll be explaining to you the different speaker types and presenter types. So when you are requested to speak, especially when it comes to making an offer for your company or selling something that will have to be your business, you can put yourself in a successful speaking situation or scenario. Some of you, I'm not going to lie, horrible if you are asked to speak for 30 to 45 minutes straight, right? The idea of you, a microphone in an audience, that probably not your strong suit, right? Like you don't know how to command a crowd. But these are all skill sets that can be worked on. However, if you were interviewed in a fireside chat, you would shine. So part of the reason people are not doing well in certain presentation and speaking opportunities because they're not in the right speaking scenario or situation, right? There's other people, to be honest with you, do not need to be in a panel discussion or they not need to be interviewed because they can rock a stage for 30 to 45 minutes. Other people might not do well with 3,000 people, but they would do exceptionally well in a workshop setting with 30 people, right? So part of being successful and part of leveraging your voice to positively impact your paycheck and your income is your ability to know what type of speaker situation best suits your personality. Right. And we don't know that a lot of times. So we're saying yes to workshops. We're saying yes to keynotes, or we are not understanding the impact of going to networking events and trying to drum up business, right? So I think that one of the things I'll be talking about, of course, is kind of really explain the different type of speaker personalities that are out there. And let's be clear, many of you don't even think yourself as a speaker, right? Not at all. Like, so we can call you a presenter, a facilitator. You use your voice, right? So we got Miss Damaris in the building. Hopefully I'm saying your name right, Miss Damaris from LinkedIn. No, you are right on time. And you says English is not my first language and I struggle with anxiety when having to speak to others. So, thank you so much for your bravery. I appreciate you jumping on my live. I think this is the first time that you are catching me, and I appreciate you being not only just vulnerable but honest. So, first and foremost, I would love to know exactly what it is that you do. Number one, number two. Nerves and anxiousness is very normal in speaking. Anxiety is a deeper thing, right? So if you're ever nervous, I tell people all the time, every single time that I speak, I always get nervous, right? And we all have these butterflies in our stomach that makes us nervous before we pick up the microphone. The difference between me and a lot of other people that I have learned how to get my butterflies to fly in formation versus crashing into each other. And most of us have these nervous butterflies and they crash into each other. So part of working with someone like you, Damaris, is we would work on how prepared are you to hit the stage? Do you know what you're going to say first? Do you know what you're going to say next? Do you have an opening? Do you have a closing? Is your presentation formatted? Is it alliteration? Do you have an analogy? Do you have is it structured in a certain way? So some of the nervousness and some of the anxiety that I have found with business owners is because they're winging their presentation every single time. There's no beginning, there's no end. When they get up there, they're going to figure out what they're going to say. And that is extra pressure on yourself. If speaking doesn't necessarily come natural to you, automatically there is a different level of preparation that you must do in order to be confident, compelling, and convincing on that stage. Okay. So Tanika says, yes, fine. Tanika, I definitely want to see you because you are a person I believe that can really benefit from polishing your speaking skills to get more of your clients. I mean, you are a walking billboard. And one of the other reasons I love, using speaking and presenting and communicating as a lead generation and marketing strategy for business owners is because you can do it one on many. Like, it's going to take a lot of phone calls to get 50 people to sign up for your business, to enroll in your coaching course, to take care of your products or services, right? That's a lot of time, a lot of one-on-one conversations. But imagine there was a room of 200 people and 50 of them wanted to work with you. You get 50 people in a small Zoom call. You present your products or services, and let's say 10%, five of them buy what it is that you offer, and your offer is $5,000. Five times 5,000 is $25,000. So you just made $25,000 off of potentially speaking to 200 people. Ask yourself, how long would it take you to make 50 or $25,000 talking to 50 people one-on-one forever and a day, right? So that is what I want you to think about as well. So Damaris says, I'm a registered nurse currently working as a case manager outpatient. Recently became a certified facilitator for a workshop being offered to staff in the facility. I work far and found myself reading more than actually speaking to the audience, 30 people, and literally had to have my coworker take over at one point due to my anxiety. Yeah, you need some coaching, sis. You need some coaching. Right. You need some coaching. So send me a message. I want you to send me a message, and I am going to send you over my link. I would love to dive into that a little bit more and learn about what is your fear, what is your anxiety. And some of it's like we don't want to mess up. We want to look competent. We want to be taken seriously when we open our mouths, right? So yeah, if it was debilitating to that point, you definitely want to make sure that you're not reading, but you're presenting and you're presenting well. So listen, y'all, I appreciate y'all jumping on with me. If you are interested to learn how you can really sharpen your speaking skills and present powerfully to increase sales and clients and conversion, I really want you to shoot me the message voice. And I want to invite you to a feedback session that I am hosting. And the goal of that is to learn exactly what are your speaking challenges and how I can create something that super serves you. So with that being said, again, thank you so much for joining me. Again, my name is Quinn Conyers, and I want you to know that if you sharpen your speaking skills, if you make your voice more visible, I personally believe that it can impact and increase your income in a very positive way. And if you haven't already done so, let's make sure that we stay connected, because every single, I want to say I try to go once a week live, depending on what's going on. I try to come to you with a different insight, and I try to come to you with a different perspective in regards to speaking and how speaking can positively impact your business and positively impact you in your career. So thank you so much again for joining me, and I'll see you next time.